Yeah, for real.
So, let's do quick intros first. I'm Coach Big Pete, aka Peter Leinweber, co-host of DuPage Run and Shoot, publisher of DeepDishFootball.com and the Deep Dish Football and Coach Big Pete on Twitter and Facebook. My co-host is the brain, Patrick Codo from NCTV 17. He does a wonderful job. Patrick Codo, where can the people follow you?
Well, if you want to, you can follow me on Twitter at PatrickCodo34. You can also follow me on. I have two Twitter accounts, PatrickCodo34 and the Codo's Mojo. You can also find me on Instagram and my website, PatrickCodo.com.
It's a wonderful website. Be sure to check it out. So we had a very interesting week one, sir.
Oh, my God. First of all, I don't know about your game, but I feel like there were some snipers let loose into the stadiums. There were guys on the ground left and right.
Yeah.
Drink water, kids. Seriously. Like, I swear, my game last week with guys going down scared the hell out of me saying, oh, please be okay, please be okay, please be okay. Oh, my God, oh, no, he's on the ground. What?
Yeah. No, I had the same issues at Plainfield East and Plainfield North as my game of the week as well. So it's just one of those things. It's always the first week. It's always the craziest, especially with injuries.
Well, yeah, we did get some good games. Unfortunately, for a school like Naperville Central, they just lost their running back on the year for a broken ankle. But overall, besides it being a crazy week one, which we'll get into that shortly, besides being a crazy week one, man, it's nice to have high school football back, like in a normal routine. Normal.
Yes.
It wasn't normal in the spring.
It's beautiful. No, it's really good. I missed it, especially in the fall. I wasn't really big on the spring football. I think it brings a sense of normalcy back.
Speaking of games,
we still, yeah.
Speaking of football, how about this Loyola Rochester matchup? Let's go.
I just got a bunch of messages before, and I got a message from one of my friends in Rochester who said that it's looking like it's going to be Loyola Academy. I thought he was joking with me. I thought it was an absolute joke. I thought he was playing the joke on me. I couldn't believe it until I finally saw it on the athletic site of Rochester. Unbelievable. What a great game this Saturday at 3 o'clock at Wilmette.
I might as well go, to be honest. We should go.
It's a good game. It is definitely going to be a good game. And big ups to the Rochester AD. He made it quick and he made it fast when he found out earlier in the day that Decatur MacArthur couldn't play them. He got on the phone quickly. He talked to Derek Leonard, the head coach of Rochester, and they were looking for teams, and Loyola agreed to a game against Rochester. It's going to be a special game, one of those historic, you have to be there to watch it, as Rochester takes on Loyola Academy at Wilmette. It's going to be a huge game.
Absolutely.
All right. So let's get into some of the DuPage scores, shall we?
We should indeed.
Yep.
No, I was about to say, let's go ahead.
All right.
What?
So the first game. What? I can hear you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the video is just a little choppy. Okay. I see 17, Montini 15, Malik Gray 2 touchdowns. So
that's a perfect
what are your
defensive
thoughts
battle
about the
right
score?
there. That's well, obviously, 2 good teams facing off, 2 well-known state title teams, like you said. IC's going to 2A, Montini's in 3A. So, like I said last week, just hand those teams the title. Defensive battle,
Yeah.
Montini got off to a good start, but that was it from there. You can't just score one touchdown and expect to do anything from there. You got to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think with IC, that this was a huge win for the IC power in DuPage County. I think IC and Coach Kraft, what they've been doing for the past almost 7-8 years now, they've been doing a wonderful job. I think this was a big proving grounds game, and I think it was a big win for IC. On Montini's side, I think they still got a little bit of the growing pains on the passing attack and a little bit more growing pains on their offensive side of the ball. But I think this Montini team is definitely going to be a big team when we talk about later in the weeks and rolling into the playoffs for IHSA. Yeah. So let's get to the second game. Nequa Valley 37, Oswego 26. What are your feelings about that score, Codo?
Well, Nequa Valley, business as usual. Good team every year, no matter who's the QB. Mark Maneke got hurt for a play. R.J. Cluxton came in and threw a touchdown. What are the odds of that happening?
Yeah.
But
no, for Nequa Valley, for me, video good.
Pete?
Yeah, I'm good. Is your video good?
Yes, my good. Can you hear me? Hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Just the video is just really choppy. Yeah, the video is really choppy.
Interesting. Let me try and move spots. I don't know what the heck's going on, to be honest. I don't know. Very interesting what's going on. How about now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You're good. Let's see.
Oh.
Try perfect, now. Actually.
Oh, okay, good to know.
Yeah, a little bit better, actually. Yeah, a little bit better. It's actually a little bit better now. There we go. All right, so Nequa Valley 37, Oswego 26. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, for Nequa Valley, business as usual. You know, quarterbacks are looking good. Mark Maneke comes out for a play. R.J. Cluxton throws a touchdown. I mean, safe to say, business as usual. Grant Larkin had some touchdowns. Carter Sessa had some touchdowns. Again, it's Nequa Valley. Business as usual. Week 1. What did I say last week? Ellinghouse doesn't believe in rebuild. That ain't a young team.
Yeah.
They just beat a good Oswego.
Yep. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right about that. I'm not really surprised with the score or the output. I think this Oswego team is going to be good this season. I think Nequa Valley. I'm more impressed with Carter Sessa. I really like that kid, Carter Sessa, wide receiver. He's a hell of a player for Nequa Valley.
Well, going back to what you're saying about Oswego, they made the game interesting. Obviously, they were down 28-13, scored 13 unanswered to make it 28-26. And then Nequa scored 9 more. So if I'm Oswego, you got to finish games. You can't expect a tie game and then do stuff from there.
Yeah.
You got to finish.
Yeah.
They didn't quite finish. So that's one of the biggest things for Oswego for their next game. They got to finish games.
Yep. Naperville Central versus Hinsdale Central. Naperville Central wins 14-2. You were at the game.
Oh, boy, I was. I have like a 10-page essay about this game. Well, first of all, let's start off and say, first of all, our thoughts and prayers go to Nico Gordon, who suffered a football career-ending injury, a serious ankle injury. He got carted off. He was supposed to be great. Nico, we love you. You're a great person, and we'll miss seeing you carrying the ball out there. Very, very. That is a very, very hard injury to go down with. Yeah. But overall, the game in general, that is your perfect defensive battle. Because let's be honest.
Yeah.
The only Central's defense made clutch fourth down plays. Their first fourth down stop they made, it led to a touchdown. Then Ethan Pitlack gets a pick six. Ty Randall has some sacks. Ty Randall forces a fumble. Pitlack recovers it. That was a perfect defensive battle. Central also made a goal line stand.
Yeah.
So Central's got the defense. It's just that the offense still has some work to do. And for Hinsdale Central, well, they also have the defense. It's just that can they find the offense? Because their offense was a no-show last Friday night.
Yeah. And I just don't understand why people were still sleeping on Naperville Central. Because of what happened in the spring, they thought that, in Naperville Central, they're going to automatically be bad this year. I don't understand why.
I don't know why either. You're bringing back a lot of experienced players. I mean, Bitlack had the picks. I mean, the whole secondary, they brought back the whole secondary. You brought back your quarterback. You brought back Reggie Florima. And like I said, I hope everyone stays healthy tomorrow night against Lincoln Way East. But, yes, Central lost their running back. Yeah. But, honestly, Central's kind of like the Patriots when it comes to the running game. Just take a random guy, take your best player and use him. That's what they did with Jaden McGill.
Yeah. All right. So we get to the next game. Yeah. So let's get to the next game. Oswego East 17, Wabanzi Valley 7. Oswego East with the big win over Wabanzi Valley. What do you think, Codo?
Oh, well, first of all, for Wabanzi Valley, that was a wake-up call. Because, you were hoping Wabanzi was going to display all these experienced guys. Well, they were an absolute no-show. And holy cow, how about a Illini recruit? What's his name again? Hang on, I'm pulling it up right here. Illini recruit, Jared Beatty, if I said that right. Holy cow, he forced two of Oswego East's 3 turnovers. One of them was like a legit takeaway. He chases down Antonio Torres, dives for him, and I'm like, oh, he missed the tackle, but Torres out of bounds. Then he has the ball in his hand. I'm like, he took that away? Yeah. What?
Yeah, he's a beast. He's a beast.
That kid is special.
Yeah.
That game was also a defensive battle, but all the big plays obviously went towards Oswego East. Trey Jones had a big game. He had a 57-yard TD run. Basically, the TD run by Trey Jones and the takeaway by Beatty were the game changers.
Yeah. And I think one of the big things, too, and we're going to talk about a lot of games with strong defenses. I think that I said this last week. I said that the defense was going to be very, very on top of their game around the Illinois area, and a lot of them were. A lot of them really were. There was good technique tackling. There was good keys that were read by the defenders. It wasn't like a fall beginning season with the first week and there's mental mistakes. The defenses were on top of their game.
Yes, they were. Yes, they absolutely were. And it definitely helped out the offenses, too, that had trouble moving the football.
Yeah. Yeah. Next game, Naperville North 35, Bennett 13. Ethan Roberts, 3 touchdowns and 162 yards rushing. What's your take?
What'd I tell you about that game? Who took Naperville North last week? Who took North? But
wow.
Yeah. That was And I just got a notification from my boss on NCTV 17 that I will be covering Matia's game at Belleville East next week. So,
Nice.
hallelujah. That will be
game.
indeed. But going back to North and Bennett, I mean, this, like you said, people are sleeping on North. And, well, North made those fans pay the price last week. I mean, everybody looked good at North. First playing on, it was game over. Well, I wouldn't say game over. It's just that basically from the first touchdown on, North just had full control. I mean, yes, Bennett made it interesting. It was 21-13, but North just wouldn't give up. They didn't give up. And they didn't give up, then that's the second straight game where they didn't give up. And you go back to their game against DeKalb last year, DeKalb was absolutely pounding all over them. They just wouldn't give up. Yeah. Look out for the Huskies this year. That's all I'm going to say.
Definitely. No, you're right. You're definitely right. And I think Bennett can bounce back from this. I really do. I think Bennett can bounce back from this. I think they just played a more superior team than Naperville North is. That team is just serious, and they're going to do damage this season and when they get into the playoffs. No doubt about it for Naperville North. Next game, Geneva beats Matea Valley.
Oh my God, that was obviously a close game. You know, but the biggest thing too that we noticed out of Matea last week is that their defense is known to giving up big plays. They didn't give up anything big last week. It's just that, you know, more went Geneva's way. You had the punt return. Oh, crap, who's that guy's name? I wrote it down on my phone. You had the punt return by Geneva's Mason Palco, if I said that right, or Puelko.
Yes.
He had the interception in the game. He had a punt return. Yeah. Logan Frederick struggled in the first half, even though Matea led 9-7. A slow first half for the Mustangs, that's for sure. If they didn't have a slow first half, they could have, you know, pulled something out of their rear ends.
No, you're right.
But on a bright side too, Big Pete, before you say this, Matea did not get blown out like they've had in previous week ones. I'm sure you noticed that. Like that's honestly the closest. That's the closest week one loss they've had since their very first varsity game.
Wow.
That's their closest. That's their closest week one loss since their very first varsity game in 2010, and it was by 1 point at the time. 1 point. 27-26 to Plainfield East. Otherwise, the other opening games that the Mustangs lost were just complete ass whoopings. Pardon my French.
Yeah.
But,
no, you're right.
No, I mean, it's you know, it's good to see, but it would have been nicer to see this Matea team win because I love the players they brought back. I love John Flynn. I love Logan Frederick. I love Jalen Johnson. I love Jake Colleen.
I just think that Geneva, to me, right now, Geneva's a little bit on the hot streak. They came out of the spring high.
First, good win for their first new head coach.
Yeah, yes, that too. All right, next game. Conan 35, Lake Park 20. I was a little bit surprised by this score, not gonna lie, but they're still building it. They're still building up Roselle for Lake Park. You go, Codo.
Good performance by Lake Park. At least, you know, because like you said, some teams that are building up, you know, those teams will get blown out to those good teams, but 20 points is not bad for Lake Park.
Yeah. No, you're right.
It's obviously the issue too is that they're playing in the Duquesne Conference, so obviously there's a lot of good teams in that conference. So again, it's going to be some time for Lake Park, but you know, we'll see what happens.
Yep. And the next game deserves a big shout out. The next game, Glenbar North 19, Niles Notre Dame 14.
My God,
Johnny
Glenbar.
I got to give a shout out first. Johnny Robertson, 6 catches, 150 yards. You go, Codo. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, Glenbar North, for listening, I like to take back every negative word I said. I'm like, it's going to be a down here. It's going to be a down here. They're going to get wrecked. I take that back. Now Notre Dame, they are a bipolar team when it comes to them playing football, but that's a good school that Glenbard North just beat. So, props to Glenbard North. That's a good win. And that's going to lead to a fantastic matchup tomorrow night between them and Naperville North.
Yep, and I think that this is a big morale booster for them. I think one of the things that people don't understand, too, about Glenbard North is they've got undersized players, yes, but they are good. They have a linebacker, Dylan Ramirez, that will knock the snot out of you. They have a good, experienced offense. They definitely are a team to look out for. Congratulations to Glenbard North on a big win over Niles Notre Dame. I even didn't see that coming. I was completely shocked by that score. But the next game is absolutely shocking.
Matt. It also showed that, their defense showed up in that game as well. Very good performance by the Glenbard North defense. Glenbard North defense is known for their, dynamic front. Like, they will give you fits.
Yeah.
Next game.
The next game, this is a big one. Providence Catholic 10, Willowbrook 0. I can't believe it. I couldn't believe this score.
Well, I can't believe that score either because, we were talking about their running back, Willowbrook's running back, Josh Brown, who put up video game-like numbers in, the spring, but to only lose 10-0 to Providence, like, I get it's an L, but
yeah,
Providence is a good team. I mean, they produce talent, D1 talent, maybe NFL talent. Miles Boykin.
Yeah.
Again, like you said, week one, defenses were going to be the thing. The other issue, too, is that, Coach, obviously the biggest thing for week one is, the turnover battle. You win the turnover battle, you win the game.
Yeah.
And so far, everybody that I assume, obviously I didn't quite keep track of everything, but I assume if you win the turnover battle, you're going to win the game. So for a school like Naperville Central, they definitely did that. It was all about defense because, it was hot out. Players were going down. Like, there were snipers in the buildings. Pew, 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 pew. One guy goes down. You go down. You go down. It was like an Oprah Winfrey show of football. Let me put it there. Yeah. You get a cramp. You get a cramp. You get a cramp.
Yeah. Let me get into another. Just what the hell is this? Lake Forest 41, St. Francis 21.
That is a shocker.
I couldn't believe it.
Oh, you did mention that Lake Forest has a good team, but Jesus Christ, I didn't think it was going to be like a 20-piece.
Yeah, I didn't think it was.
Like, what are we? What is this? The 2K rule? Where in the second half you have your opponent 20-piece, game over?
I didn't think St. Francis defense was going to give up that large amount to Lake Forest. I was completely
especially with Coach McMillan at the helm.
Yeah.
Because he's a defensive guy.
Yeah, and to me, I think the one thing that was key in that battle was that Lake Forest offensive line. That Lake Forest offensive line neutralized that St. Francis defensive line. Big shout out to the Lake Forest offensive line for that game. Big game for them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. See, the biggest things that are going to be key in games, obviously, is your front and the turnover battle.
Yep.
Those are the two big things that people sleep on.
Next big score, which absolutely blew me away. Wheaton North 50, Downers Grove South 0.
Well, I feel like an idiot.
Me too. I was completely blown away by the score.
Yeah, well, especially when Downers Grove South had a Division One receiver. I thought they'd give Wheaton North a fight.
Yeah.
Nope. But yeah, no. So for the people that listened last week, I did pick Downers Grove South in an upset. I feel like an idiot and probably should be wearing a chicken costume.
I think DGS. I think they had some first week jitters. I think that's going to be settled out. But I think
everybody had.
I admit I counted a little bit out. Yeah, I counted out a little bit of Wheaton North. I'm completely shocked with Wheaton North's performance against Downers Grove South. A big shout out to Wheaton North and that football team.
And not only that, too. I mean, I'm sure even Wheaton North had some first week jitters.
Yeah.
Not everything's going to be perfect. Like every week, you're not going to blow out a team 50-0.
Yeah.
You're not going to be like the 2019 Lincoln Way East Griffins.
True. Very true. Next game, Glenbard East 24, Larkin 7. Not that much of a surprise. Glenbard East is going to be a good team this year. Coach Walters, congratulations on the win against Larkin. Any of your thoughts?
Props to Glenbard East. Like I said, they were everyone's punching bag back in the days, and then once they made the move to 7A, they've been a powerhouse. You know, a nice school, very nice field. You know, I feel bad that they were struggling in football, but they're getting it going. Props to them. I'm very proud of them.
Yeah. Next game, York versus Schaumburg. Lyle versus Harvard. Lyle wins 26, Harvard 16. That's not much of a surprise. Congratulations to Coach Parpin on the big win against Harvard. I don't think that was much of a surprise. Harvard's having a little bit of a tough time with their football program, but Lyle's looking good again this year. Congratulations to Lyle on the big win. Anything else from you, Codo?
No, but good to show. But it's nice to see there's more than one team in Lyle succeeding.
Yep. That's bad. York 37, Schaumburg 7. This is if you want a good season. This is a key win. Congratulations to Coach Fitz. You go, Codo.
Obviously, last week we were talking about York, who just had a winning season for the first time in a decade, and want to have another winning season? Why not start it off with a big waffle stomp win?
Yeah. Next game, Plainfield Central 58, Addison Trail 10. 0. Addison Trail 0.
That's no surprise.
Yeah. I don't think that was much of a surprise either. Big congratulations to Plainfield Central. And I'm going to say this right now. If you're a player and you're saying, don't underestimate us, look at our big win and all this other stuff, look at the big win. When you're supposed to win that game, you're not supposed to gloat on Twitter that you beat Addison Trail.
I was going to say, yeah. That's just like team saying that they beat Mattia Valley in the DVC.
Yeah.
Beat some. So for Plainfield Central, hold on, Pete, before you talk. For Plainfield Central, you want to go rant on Twitter, beat Plainfield North. Then you can go rant on Twitter all you want.
Yep, but you're right. Big score right here. Downers Grove North 17, Hoffman Estates 13. Coach Harini.
Probably the closest win we've had in week 1.
Yeah.
Closest game, defensive battle. Well, we also had Montini and IC. But every game you watch is either a blowout or, high-scoring blowout.
Yeah. And I'll say this about DGN. Coach Harini, like I said last week, is building this program into something. Downers Grove North, they needed that special win to boost that morale. This was a big win as DGN beats a tough Hoffman Estates team. Congratulations to Coach Harini. Congratulations to that program. It is well deserved. And again, Pete, this is a program to watch out in these coming years.
Pete.
Yeah.
Pete.
Yeah. Got me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Good. Don't scare me like that, man.
I'm sorry.
All right. Next score, Streamwood 64, West Chicago 7. Not that much of a surprise. Tough game for West Chicago. Any thoughts about that, Codo?
I mean, can't say you're surprised. Obviously, this is a this is a clean, it's a clean for West Chicago, and obviously I know this is a clean show, but New Year, same stuff, as in a clean version. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Deerfield 39, Hinsdale South 16. I'm shocked.
Well, you're shocked.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I thought it was going to be a close game.
Yeah. Well, I thought, like I said, I thought Central. Well, again, week one is full of surprises. Like I said, for the Hinsdale Central and April Central game, I thought at most a team was going to win by was 4 points. Nope.
Yeah. All right. This is a big game. I had it circled, but it turned out good for Wheaton Warrenville South as they won 42-28 over OPRF. Matt Summerdike, 4 touchdowns, 243 yards passing. Big game. Coach Norris gets his first win. What do you guys say about that, Codo?
Oh my God, what a game for Wheaton Warrenville South. But let's give some props to, OPRF. They made the game really interesting. Obviously, the Tigers were up 21-7. OPRF ties it up at 21, but Wheaton South scores 21 more. But it just shows that OPRF can hang with some big dogs. We just got to hope that, we just got to hope that it wasn't a let's hope it wasn't a week one fluke is what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, you're right. You are completely right about that. Walford Christian 13, Westmont 8. My team next game, Glenbard South 28.
Next question. Okay, Bill Belichick.
This was a key game for Glenbard South. You always want to get that first win. Coach Chrissy's got those South Raiders ready, but a big win for Glenbard South. Congratulations to Glenbard South. They're looking like the real deal. Your thoughts?
Well, obviously, again, for the Bartlett people, rest in peace those players. Yeah. I honestly thought Bartlett was going to give a bigger fight. I really thought they would. 28-0. You're playing for fallen players. Everybody's motivated and stuff. Again, week one jitters. A lot of things got to learn from week one. Sometimes, though, those week one losses do hurt. They're hard to come back from. But I believe that Bartlett's a good team. It's just that Glenbard South was a better team, and they are on the rise.
Yeah. No, you're right. Brookfield East, Wisconsin beats Wheaton Academy by 3 points in a tough-fought game. Wheaton Academy, they deserve all the accolades for going against that good of a team in Brookfield East, Wisconsin. But Wheaton Academy, again, is a team that you cannot sleep on this season. But first loss for them is they lose to Brookfield East of Wisconsin. Next game, Cedar, I forgot the right away team, but Glenbard West wins their game. Joey Pope gets 3 touchdowns. What do you say?
Well, obviously, Coach Pete, it's Glenbard West.
Yeah. No, you're right. I think. Well, one of the big things too that I'm shocked by is when you were in high school, did you play any games on Saturday afternoon for varsity?
Mostly the playoffs, yeah, but obviously when you go play, obviously for Glenbard West, they're always on Saturday because they have no lights.
That Saturday afternoon game. When I played at Westmont, we had no lights. When that was back then, those Saturday games for some reason gave other teams that were good, but also had Saturday a nice little advantage. For some weird reason.
Well, I mean, that's the advantage for Glenbard West. I mean, they play in a dump where they're right next to a lake where probably geese are going to drop bombs on the field.
True. All right. So we get into the games of the week of DuPage County.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
go. All right. The big I can't even say it with a straight face. The big rivalry game with Lyle versus Westmont. I coached at Westmont. I played at Westmont. It's the big rivalry game, everyone. Lyle, David, and Westmont, whatever. Lyle is going to win this game. I got nothing else. Westmont, it's going to take time to build that program. And I'm just this is not a big rivalry game. I don't know why people call it a big rivalry game, but it's a big rivalry game battle for the Old
You just called it a big rivalry game. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I did too. That's true. Doink. That's my fault. All right, next game: Glenbar North versus Naperville North. What's your take, Codo?
Oh boy, we're gonna have ourselves it's gonna be a battle between offense and defense. Glenbar North holding, Naperville North dropping 35. Glenbar North holding their opponents at 14. Naperville North, they're going to be home in front of their fans and stuff. The state that, that Husky Stadium is going to be rocking for the first time since October of 2019. Oh boy. I think
I really like this.
I'm not going to lie. I think Glenbar North is still going to be a little hungover from their Notre Dame win. So Naperville North.
I think this game's going to be tight. I really like this game.
Yes.
I just think that there's something special about both teams, especially Naperville North. But Glenbar North, I think a lot of people are still doubting Glenbar North. I think it's going to be a tight game. I really think it's going to be a good game. Definitely a big game in DuPage County. Next one, Wheaton North versus Providence Catholic. Go ahead, Codo.
Well, first things first, Wheaton North is not dropping 50, and Providence Catholic is not shutting out their opponent for a second straight week.
Yeah.
There's going to be some scoring. A good test for Wheaton North and their third-year quarterback. Another good test for Providence. I mean, they shut down a good running back. Can they shut down a good quarterback now? It's like a pattern for Providence. Yeah. Basically, good running back, and now basically good quarterback.
Key. No, it's key. You're right. And I really got to say, Providence Catholic, Coach C, head coach of Providence Catholic, this is going to be his last season. I think those kids got a little special edge on their shoulders fighting for Coach C in his last season. And I think this is going to be a good game. And Wheaton North, again, underrated running attack. And for Wheaton North, for me, like I said, I was very impressed with him on the 7-on-7 at the Batavia 7-on-7. I think, again, for Wheaton North to go against Providence Catholic, I think Wheaton North, the big thing will be that passing attack against that Providence Catholic secondary. So it's going to be a good game. Next game, Wheaton Warrenville South versus Neuqua Valley. Go ahead, Codo.
Well, I mean, it's a big one indeed. I mean, two teams where the offenses literally shot fireworks in week one. You're going to see a high-scoring game between Neuqua and Wheaton Warrenville South.
Yeah. No, you're right. And there was one player, Libby, wide receiver from Wheaton Warrenville South. He had 3 touchdowns receiving in week one. He's definitely a player to watch. Against,
the tight end, too.
Yeah. Yep. Fawcett, he's going to be a beast. Paulson at defensive tackle, like you said last week. Neuqua Valley, for me, again, they're just rich at that quarterback spot. Neuqua Valley every year has usually 1 to 2 good quarterbacks.
Neuqua, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you had one that came in for an injury that threw a freaking touchdown.
Yep.
So it's safe to say that if Coach Ellinghouse, he can trust any of those guys.
Yes. Next one, Naperville Central versus Lincoln Way East. I'm going to go with Lincoln Way East on this one. I love what Lincoln Way East is doing. I think they had a tough game against Crete Monee. But do not count out Naperville Central, the Red Hawks. Go ahead, Codo.
Obviously, Central's going to give them a tough fight tomorrow, but sorry, Central, but I got to go Lincoln Way East as well.
Yeah.
I mean, Lincoln Way East, they're technically still the defending 8A state champs. Can you believe that?
Yeah. That's crazy.
Still defending champs. That'll be fun to see, though, tomorrow. That'll be the game I'll be at tomorrow.
Good.
It'll be a fun game tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Next one, IC at Marion Central in Woodstock. IC coming off the big booster win against Montini, against the Marion Central team that everyone counted down, but got their first win, and it's 1-0 versus 1-0. IC takes on Marion Central. I'm going to be in favor of IC, but this Marion Central passing tackle, Brandon Hernan, is nothing to be laughed at. Go ahead, Codo. Anything to say about this game?
I'm going to go IC as well. I mean, you just beat a good Montini team, and I keep that grind going.
Yep. Next game, Wheaton St. Francis versus Peoria.
Ooh. So a battle of – so you got a team that, had a surprising loss against a team that I think it was them that put up 62 points in that 2016 state title game, if I'm correct, Peoria?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
And they hold plenty of offensive records, Peoria. You can talk.
I'm not surprised. Peoria is another school that people sleep on. This will be a good test for Peoria, but call me crazy, Coach Pete. But St. Francis of Wheaton goes 0-2.
Yep, I think you're right. And next one, DGS versus Glenbard West. DGS needs to get that win. Can they get it against Glenbard West?
Where's the game?
Oh, that I didn't. I think it's at Glenbard West, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, geez. Rest in peace. If it is.
I'll check. Still checking.
Not a problem. Let's see if I can find it. What are you looking at? You're not looking at Max Preps? I always look at my stuff on Max Preps.
Yeah. Where are you?
Look at you.
This is not Glenn. All right, let's see.
Oh, apparently I can't access
that.
What are you doing? Some Looney Tunes stuff?
Yep. Still waiting for the schedule to pop up. Come on. All right. Schedule. There we go. It is. What? It is at home. It's at home.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So probably most likely Glenbard West. Yeah. Anything you want to say more about that game?
No, but Downers Grove South. Hopefully their offense shows up, because obviously last week many Downers Grove South fans had to file a police report because their offense was missing.
Yes. So we'll see what happens. It'll be tough.
I use that joke all the time whenever the Bears offense never shows up.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And they probably won't show up for as long as Andy Dalton is under center.
Yep. So, what are your feelings about Willowbrook versus DGN? Big game.
Well, obviously, it's a big game for Willowbrook. Obviously, like we mentioned, they're bringing back a good running attack. who hopefully puts up some video game numbers. But for Willowbrook, they want this win. They need to get it against Downers Grove North. So I'm going Willowbrook.
Okay, I have to. I think DGN can fight this game, and I have a lot of belief in DGN. I don't know what's going on with Willowbrook. I think this is going to be a very interesting game. But if Josh Brown catches on fire, it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a tough game for DGN, no doubt about that.
Exactly.
All right, next game. IC will be taking on Sterling. Your thoughts, Codo?
Martini.
So Sterling, they've got a nice little sophomore tight end in Lucas Austin. They also got a good defensive back in Cale Ray, defensive back out of Sterling. It's going to be a big game, Sterling versus Montini. Montini needs this win. This is a huge game for Montini. I think they're even teams. It'll be a good game. In the last game of DuPage County, Bennett takes on Moline. Bennett, this is going to be an interesting game. Go ahead, Codo.
Knowing Bennett Academy, after every loss they have, they always bounce back with the win. So I'm going to go Bennett with the win. They're a really good school. Obviously they had some first game jitters last week. I think they can get the bounce back.
Yeah.
Pierce Walsh, John Weinenbach need to have big games.
Yep. Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. Matthew Bailey out of Moline, he's a hell of a player, wide receiver athlete, and Gavin Grace, linebacker, is a hell of a linebacker. He lays the lumber for Moline, no doubt about that. All right. Any closing thoughts for you, Codo?
No, we got, a lot of good matchups. It sucks for the teams that had to cancel this week, but, it's nice to see some Week 2 football going along. We're going to be having a lot of out-of-state games next week, some long road trip games. As I just mentioned, I'll be going down to Belleville next week to cover Mattia and Belleville. So, obviously, Mattia Valley's got a tough home game tomorrow night against Lockport. So, Mattia could use a Week 2 win.
Yes, they could.
Because
Lockport, they're beast.
But Mattia Valley hasn't won a home game since September of 2016.
Wow. Are you kidding me?
their last three wins were schools that were an hour or more away.
Jeez.
Does Mattia Valley seriously? If Mattia loses tomorrow, I cannot believe I'm seriously we're going to have to see their fourth win come against a long road trip. The same team they just beat in 2019.
Well, this Lockport team is a serious team. Lockport likes to knock you on your ass. Simple as that. Lockport's a scary, very scary team.
Well, Lockport's game plan basically is to knock Jake Pauline on his ass, Logan Frederick on his ass, Jalen Johnson on his ass, Flynn on his ass. Basically, everyone on that Mattia side on their asses.
Yeah,
even the sideline.
It should be definitely an interesting game. I'm going to Chicago Christian. Is that Chicago Christian takes on Ottawa Marquette in a classic 1A versus 2A game. It should be a lot of fun. I'm really excited. It's going to be a big game, small school game, definitely. Ottawa Marquette had to move their game from Saturday afternoon because the heat index was 114 degrees, and they had to move the second part of the game on Monday, and they beat the Codo.
Okay. I'll be at Central. I'll be at Central versus Lincoln Way East tomorrow. So we'll see how the how the Redhawks do against the Griffins.
That's going to be a huge game. Huge game.
Well, it's a huge game for both teams.
Yeah. True. So, well, that is it. Anything else to say, Codo?
No, thank you very much for having me on, Pete. Another episode in the books. I thought we had a great talk, and we got more episodes to come, and we got a nice little mojo going all the way till Thanksgiving. If that's right.
Definitely. And look, quick question: where should people follow you?
Well, you can follow me everywhere: Twitter, Facebook. I'm in Twitter at PatrickCodo34. Twitter, also the Codo's Mojo. My website, PatrickCodo.com. On Instagram, PCodes34. Codo's Mojo. I'm everywhere.
Awesome. And you can follow me, Coach Big Pete, and Deep This Football on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. My email is CoachBigPete fp@gmail.com. And you know what? Let's do
on
something.
Saturday.
Breakfast for Saturday is going to be coffee, a lot of coffee.
Because you're probably going to be up late at night trying to find scores.
Yes, it's going to be hard. Let's do something. If you're watching right now, email me at coachbigpetefp@gmail.com. Email me your questions, and we'll answer some of your questions live on the show next week.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So send us some. And also, if you all want to send Patrick Codo some questions, you can email me at pcodo@nt. I say, ask me and Coach Big P. We'll be happy to answer your questions.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect. All right,
yeah,
so
Pete
for
Codo
me, yeah, what are you going to say?
Yep, Pete Codo at nctv17.com. Ask us some questions. In fact, everybody, I know all of you do fantasy football, so you can all ask us some fantasy football questions.
There we go. That's perfect.
Let's get some fantasy football talk going because this is a football show. So, and if y'all want fantasy questions, I'm in a fantasy league. Pete, I'm sure you're going to be in the league.
That's perfect. But just ask fantasy questions, ask NFL questions, hell, even ask college questions. We'll have some fun. So email us, and I'll put the emails down in the video as well. Thank you for joining me, Patrick Codo, as always.
Yes, sir.
Good luck at Naperville versus Lincoln Way East, sir.
It'll be fun.
Have a good one.
You too.
You too.